Hello, my name is Dalton Rothrock, and my question today is it fair to mandate a vaccine? More than half of US companies are planning to impose a mandatory vaccine mandate by the end of this year. Large companies like McDonald's, Goldman Sachs, um, Facebook, Tyson Foods will have this mandate set in place by the end of the year. 8.4 million Americans are unemployed right now. 57% of Americans are currently fully vaccinated. If you do the math, that's going to put out quite a few jobs that people need to survive. Some may cave in and go and get the vaccine just to keep their job, but a large part of Americans feel that that violates their rights, and I don't believe will cave in to get the vaccine just because of mandate. I'm up to date on all my vaccines. I am scheduled to get my COVID-19 vaccine here soon. So I just want to come from a place where I'm not trying to push anti-vaccination or anything like that on any of you. Whether it be fear or lack of resources, like knowledge of how the vaccine works, or just plain stubbornness, which I'm sure you all know is something that occurs in the world. People are afraid to get the vaccine. They're not going to get it. And I think it should always remain their choice. That's what makes America a free country. The entire world was struck by COVID-19, as you all know, and it's really hard to remember what life was like before the virus. Like any challenge, and through the help of God, we persevered and we found a vaccine. And that vaccine has been proven effective and has helped many, but it's never okay to force any type of medication on someone if they don't want it. So we really need to speak up and make a change so people still can keep that freedom. The CDC recommends that all adults get the flu shot, the Tdap, the PPSV, which is a pneumococcal pneumonia vaccine, 23, and PVC 13. Those are the recommended vaccinations from the CDC. 70% of Americans are fully compliant with these vaccinations. There are waivers that you can get filled out, whether it be by your doctor or by your religious leader, because the two options for that are religious waivers or medical waivers. In the medical waivers, you have to have a pre-existing condition that limits the effectiveness of the vaccine or puts you in potential danger if you do get the vaccine. They're pretty hard to come by, and they need to be signed off by that professional. Otherwise, most companies won't accept them. And nowadays, a lot of companies are even turning away religious waivers just because they don't believe they were either legit, or they don't believe that they want those people working in their company without the vaccination and putting their company at risk. My dad's company, I won't call out and I won't kind of put on blast, but they are going to, as of October 1st, so just a couple days ago, just a couple days ago, they put in a new policy saying that everyone has to be fully vaccinated. Otherwise, the employees who choose not to get vaccinated and don't get those waivers filled out will be forced to resign, which, I mean, as I'm sure you know, violates a lot of laws for the workplace. But those people have families, and they need those jobs to keep those families up afloat and living well. And they will be absolutely crushed if those mandates aren't put to a halt. 75% of Americans that have not been vaccinated stated that they will never get vaccinated because they're either afraid of the symptoms, or they don't trust the experimental vaccine. And I say experimental just because it was such a quick vaccine. It hasn't been through the regular testing that other vaccinations have been through and proved. So they're just kind of afraid to get that vaccine because they don't know what's going to happen or if it will even help them. If all of the companies in the United States put a mandate into place, that would leave around 9,998,335 Americans out of a job. And as you can tell, that would be detrimental to our economy. If we didn't have that many people working, that would put a lot of stress on those companies because you don't have the typical hands needed to either make your products or just make your company run. There have been 701,000 deaths from COVID-19, so it is very serious, and I understand that. In 2020, according to thinkglobalhealth.org. But the number of Americans that would be permanently out of a job if this mandate went into force, if it was nationwide, would be nearly 15 times the amount of deaths that have been suffered. So if you take that into account, you are putting out 10 million people of a job. So think about the impact that that would have on their families. They would not have an income. They would definitely struggle if they couldn't find work. That number, the 10 million, is about 10% of Americans. So if you take out 10% of Americans, just think about the impact that that would have from the workplace. If our country puts an end to these vaccination mandates, we uphold what our country was built upon: freedom. While the vaccine has been proven to be somewhat effective, there have still been 22,115 Americans with breakthrough cases. Breakthrough cases are people that are fully vaccinated that still got COVID-19. And that's not saying that it's not effective, because even if you have the flu vaccine, you can still obtain the flu. It just kind of shows that it is still experimental, and we're still trying to figure out better ways to get people vaccinated. Like we just found out, if you got Moderna or Pfizer, you're probably going to have a booster shot to kind of re-up what's in your system to try and prevent COVID-19 from getting into your system. Of those 22,115 patients, 5,226 deaths have been result of COVID-19 from those breakout cases. Currently, 43% of companies in the United States have decided not to require the vaccine. They're letting their employees make that choice and make that choice for themselves and their families. Our Constitution protects a person's freedom of choice in medical care, including the right to refuse unwanted medical treatment and the rights preserving the doctor-patient relationship. This includes the right to refuse any medical treatment if you don't feel comfortable doing it. And that's kind of what protects our constitutional rights. So putting in a mandate to require your employees to get a vaccination is going directly against the Constitution. And I know that the COVID-19 virus is something that needs to be taken very seriously. But taking away Americans' rights is not the way to do it. We need to demand a halt of these mandates before it ruins our lives and our economy. We have the right to protest and speak about what we're passionate about, and if we feel something is unconstitutional. There are now 9 states in the United States that have put in laws that will prevent the state from putting in mandates. 9 out of 50 is great, but we need that number to be higher. I know that there are some states that probably won't swing towards halting the mandates, but if you feel passionate about it, you need to go and talk to your family and friends, talk to your neighbors, go speak to government officials, try and find out what their policy is on mandating vaccines, and just kind of try and go make your difference. If you can set up a protest to go to a Capitol building or to a government building and kind of speak your mind about halting the vaccines, then that would be ideal. Vaccines typically take 10 to 15 years to be properly developed. And the COVID-19 vaccine, all three of them, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, and Pfizer, were produced in approximately a year, and has only been monitored for about 9 months now. So we need to keep this as a choice, whether you want to get vaccinated or not, and don't put it into the hands of the government. It's up to you to protect your rights. I'm not saying you shouldn't go get the vaccine. I'm just saying do it on your own power, because not because someone is twisting your arm on it. We will lose our freedom if we let the government make medical decisions for us. Thank you.